First of all, thank you for joining us this morning for this news conference. I'm joined by Brian Sullivan, who is the president of the Court Officers Benevolent Association, as well as a number of his members who are going to be introduced by Brian later. We have Christian Migliori from the Nassau County Detectives Association, and we have members of the Republican majority here at the legislature. We are calling upon the county executive to reconsider her plan to remove ICE from the correctional center. To give this legislature an opportunity to investigate and hold hearings to allow for a proper and transparent discussion and analysis as to the benefits of the continued presence of ICE on the jail property. We and the people that we represent have a right to know how this decision was made, why this decision was made, and what effect it will have on public safety. The public has a right to know we are putting public safety ahead of political correctness. Last week, my office was informed that the county executive had served a notice on ICE that it was to leave the facilities at the Nassau County Correctional Facility, ending a 20-year relationship between ICE and Homeland Security, as well as the correctional facility. The administration originally told ICE to leave the county property in a letter dated November 20th, 2018. The county cited a decision by a New York State appellate court that held that it was illegal for law enforcement agencies, including the Nassau County Correctional Facility, to hold an inmate at a jail pursuant to an ICE civil detainer and administrative warrant. Let me repeat that. The decision provides that the county cannot hold an inmate after his or her term expires. The decision did not state that the county, including staff at our correctional facility, can no longer cooperate with ICE, including handing over inmates who, for example, are known members of gangs. ICE responded by letter dated December 14, 2018. ICE indicated its continued desire to remain on the premises. We've quoted some sections of the letter to our left, and we have copies for you before you leave today. But in the letter, ICE says, there are ways we can continue to cooperate, and that would not be outside the parameters of the appellate division decision, thereby ensuring criminal and deportable alien gang members are not released into the communities of Nassau County. The threats posed by foreign and criminal organizations operating in the United States are real. Citing reports that specifically mention the threat posed by MS-13 in Nassau and Suffolk County, the ICE field office argued there is still a need for cooperative efforts between ICE and the county. We completely agree. ICE asked for an additional 60 days. The county responded by a letter dated December 17, 2018, effectively telling ICE to pack their bags and be out by January 31st. We are calling on the administration to reconsider this decision. ICE has presented reasons why the cooperative efforts between the county and ICE should continue, and why their continued presence at the jail provides a benefit to the county and its residents, notwithstanding the appellate division decision. Unlike so-called sanctuary cities, Nassau County continues to cooperate with ICE and federal agencies. Our law enforcement has cooperative relationships with these agencies for the benefit of our citizens. This must continue. We believe that it is important that ICE maintain its presence at the Nassau County Jail in order to continue its decades-long collaboration with Nassau County. This is vitally important that we continue to do this in this age with the rise of MS-13 and other criminal gangs in our counties, in our region, as well as the spread of the epidemic of opioids. At the very least, this requires a discussion in public. One last note before I introduce Brian Sullivan to say a few words. We are disappointed in the county executive's that the county executive's actions were taken without notification to the legislature, to the chair of the public safety, or to any of us, or to the general public for that matter. This lack of transparency, especially where public safety is concerned, is unacceptable and contrary to the principles of open government. Mr. Ryan, would you like to say a few words?
Good morning, good afternoon. My name is Brian Sullivan. I'm the president of the Nassau County Correction Officers Benevolent Association. I just have a few words on this issue. The cooperative efforts of ICE and gang investigators within the correctional setting is an invaluable resource to combat gang violence. It is basically one of the tenets of what law enforcement is all about, combating crime through the sharing of information. Again, dedicated cooperation between law enforcement organizations is what combats gang violence on Long Island. Nassau County Sheriff's Department gang investigators work hand in hand with ICE agents and Nassau County Police gang investigators to protect public safety in Nassau County. Cutting off this valuable resource for any reason is an affront to the taxpayers and residents of Nassau County who depend on their elected and appointed officials and law enforcement agencies to keep them safe. In a time where we have had numerous murders and the recovery of bodies committed by MS-13 on Long Island, we don't understand where the mindset is to remove this valuable cooperative tool to combat this scourge. ICE works hand in hand with our gang investigators, with police gang investigators, in a completely separate and distinct manner from what was handed down in that appellate court's ruling. The appellate court ruling basically stated that we cannot hold illegal aliens on ICE detainers because there was some sort of a differentiation between civil detainers and criminal detainers. That's one aspect of this. Obviously, we're all law enforcement agencies, we're all law enforcement officers, we're going to abide by the law of the land. If we can't hold them, that's one thing. But removing them from the property is a completely different aspect because you're cutting off a valuable tool, information gathering, and investigative tool that all of our law enforcement agencies from the federal level right down to villages use to combat gang violence on Long Island. We all know about the gang problem on Long Island. We know about the opioid crisis on Long Island. We know that the gangs are the ones that are introducing a lot of these opioids. Cutting this off is mind-boggling to those of us in this business. Like I said, it's an invaluable tool, a cooperative tool to combat this scourge. It was reported also that the presence of ICE on jail property creates an impression that the county is involved in the deportation business. That's a complete fallacy. I don't know where that came from. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but isn't the county involved in one of their top priorities in law enforcement and the public safety business? Why does ICE's presence at the correctional facility, what does ICE's presence at the correctional facility have to do with deportation? This is about information gathering, identifying dangerous criminal gang members who are in the country illegally. Illegal aliens, the operative word being illegal here, we're all in the law enforcement business. ICE and our gang investigators work tirelessly together to identify them, root them out, not hamstring law enforcement, and in turn these criminals loose on our communities. Forgive me. It's my understanding that the county also notified ICE that they're being thrown off the jail property because of a real estate development and consolidation project. I'd like to know what this project is. I have no knowledge of it whatsoever. It's the first I'm hearing about it. I've been fighting for capital monies to correct serious structural infrastructure deficiencies at our jail, and routinely our capital monies are cut out of the budget. What alleged real estate development project on jail property is underway now, necessitating the removal of ICE from the jail property? Whether or not to hold illegal aliens on administrative warrants has nothing to do, as I said, with investigative work or information sharing between law enforcement agencies to combat crime in our community. Correctional facilities contain invaluable information for law enforcement. We currently house approximately 225 identified and known gang members in our facility. Over 50 of those are known and identified MS-13 gang members. You may have read in the paper the other day, we hold in our facility, the Nassau County Correctional Facility, the #1 MS-13 on the eastern coast of the United States who reports directly to his superiors in El Salvador. We've been holding him in our jail for quite some time. They just came out with a decision they're going to give him 15 years. He was offered 15 years for orchestrating murders, drugs, all kinds of gang activity. We're going to give him 15 years here because I guess they don't want to worry about the court system, didn't want to expend a long trial here and going through. It was quoted in the paper as wiretaps and everything we have to go through because they found out there was a federal indictment on this same guy. I guess they figured let's kick it up to the federal system and let's not do it here. My problem with that in dealing with a particular MS-13 gang member is what happens if the the federal case doesn't stick. We have this guy orchestrating murders on Long Island. We're going to give him 15 years. If the federal case doesn't stick or it doesn't hold much water, this guy walks in 10 years and he's back out on the street again. It's insanity to me. There is a tremendous value to having ICE working within a correctional setting. If Nassau County wants to tout being tough on crime, then act like it. Create and bolster partnerships between law enforcement agencies, beef up our gang intelligence units and capabilities, work with our law enforcement officers, law enforcement agencies from the federal level through the state on down, sheriff's departments, police departments, federal, the whole 9 yards. Don't work against them. You can't say one thing and do the opposite and say that you're tough on crime. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Chris, let's see.
Yes, please, thank you. My name is Christian Migliori. I'm the treasurer for the Nassau County Detectives Association. My organization represents 1,500 actively retired Nassau County detectives. My statement will be brief. My organization is proud to stand here today with this group. Proud to stand here in opposition to this very poor decision to remove ICE from the Nassau County Jail. ICE has proven to be an asset, an ally, and a great investigative and intelligence gathering tool for all law enforcement in Nassau County. ICE provides our detectives, specifically our gang unit detectives and correction gang investigators, with valuable information on gang activity. This information is then used to help keep the 1.4 million residents of Nassau County safe, our police officers safer on the street, and our detectives safe. Some of this information is extremely useful in combating criminal gang activity in our county, including the gang MS-13. This violent gang in particular has left some of their murder victims buried throughout locations in Nassau County, locations that we think as of safe, like our parks and our Catholic schools. I and my organization implore the county executive and other officials who are involved in this decision, this poor decision, to rethink their position on this matter. Thank you.
Any questions?
On my way in, I saw a truck rolling around, something about freezing ice, and county executive soft crime. Is one of the ladies responsible for the truck, and what's the message from the truck?
I don't know. It has nothing to do with the message that we have in our press conference.
No, it's about there's a truck going around the county executive building about this exact topic, and none of the participants here are aware of it.
Aware of it? I mean, obviously it's outside.
Or involved in the...
No, I mean, I understand that the truck was traveling around the building last week as well, so I mean, it has nothing to do with
none of the labor unions were involved.
Richard, you find that without this trailer at the jail, that we're going to be releasing gang members back into society?
What I'm implying is that there is a benefit to having the ICE at the jail. I think what this decision implies is that cooperation is not going to continue, that there's going to be less cooperation between our administration when it comes to gang members who are in jail and ICE. And again, the decision that they're relying on only says that the jail cannot keep these illegal aliens who are at the jail for any length of time due to civil detainers or administrative. So they have to release them. But it doesn't say that they can't cooperate with ICE in terms of releasing them into ICE's custody. So the pretext for moving ICE off the property just doesn't exist.
What do you think the county exec's motivation for this decision?
I don't know what the motivation is, but it's wrong-headed. I think it sends the wrong signal. It's an indication that perhaps we're not going to cooperate as much with ICE as we have in the past. As I said before, we have a major gang problem. It's an international gang. We have a major opioid problem in this country. So I don't know what her motivation was, but the reasons that she gave do not support the decision. Again, the appellate division decision was limited in scope. It doesn't say that you cannot continue to cooperate with ICE. It doesn't say that you can't tell ICE we are releasing a known gang member, come here to pick him up. It just said you cannot restrain that person and maintain them with this 48-hour period.
ICE agents are being evicted from the Nassau jail. The county executive is standing by the move, while other county leaders believe the move will make it more difficult to protect the public. Nightside's Virginia Huey has that story.
If Nassau County wants to tout being tough on crime, then act like it.
Members of Nassau's law enforcement blasted County Executive Laura Curran's order to U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency to vacate a trailer at the county jail, calling the move soft on crime.
In a time where we have had numerous murders and the recovery of bodies committed by MS-13 on Long Island, we don't understand where the mindset is to remove this valuable cooperative tool to combat this scourge.
The county is asking ICE to leave the jail after New York State Supreme Court ruled in November that it's illegal for ICE to hold prisoners who otherwise would be released. But Republicans say that doesn't mean ICE should be removed.
The decision provides that the county cannot hold an inmate after his or her term expires. The decision did not state that the county, including staff at our correctional facility, can no longer cooperate with ICE, including handing over inmates who, for example, are known members of gangs.
County Executive Curran is standing firm, issuing a statement that reads in part, "Removing ICE from the trailer gives us the opportunity to eliminate confusion in the immigrant community and demonstrate that inmates are there for crimes. This strengthens our community policing model." Immigration attorney Patrick Young agrees, saying the move will enhance public safety.
Because the presence of ICE trailers at the county jail had created the impression in immigrant communities that the police were working hand in glove with ICE. It's very important that the police establish trust with the immigrant community.
But Long Islanders we spoke with want ICE to stay.
We need ICE. We have too much illegal immigration into the country. I think it has to be controlled, and this is the only method we have to do it.
6 officials from ICE are expected to leave the trailer by the end of the month.